Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. Now, this is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. Good Morning Uganda starts every weekday from 6:30. So we are here, the Fantastic Four, a big team behind the cameras, and of course the technicians who make sure we come to you live and clear. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono. That is in case you have just joined us. And in the extra, I usually have guests or a guest with whom we discuss issues of national concern. Now, this morning we are going to be discussing a giant. Why am I calling this a giant? Because many people have not yet understood it. And those that have, maybe are not using it to maximization of their economic, health, any aspect of life. Some are even scared when you mention it. Others will tell you, hell is coming our way, we are going to lose jobs. But also very important is, how deep have we gone to bring this in our education system? And that is bringing AI into the classroom. That is artificial intelligence. Now, joining me is a man who has done so much research, so much reading, even published a book that concerns AI. And whenever I see him anywhere, I'm just like the ambassador of artificial intelligence is there. I just wait to hear what comes out of him. I've met him on several occasions as a guest of honor, as a panelist, but he can barely complete without talking about AI. Join me, welcome the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University, Professor Lawrence Muganga. You're most welcome, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Chirabo. Viewers, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. It's not something we take for granted that whoever is tuned in is sparing some time to really move with us. So thank you for having me here.
Now, Professor, just to begin with, there are so many things that professors can discuss. But you're so passionate about artificial intelligence. And I usually ask myself, I've not read so many books written by members of the East African community, the professors regarding AI, except you. Now, where do you draw your passion?
I mean, I could be here and we could be discussing how many publications I've made, because that's a metric that the academic institutions look at to promote people from the lower rank to the upper most rank to become a professor. How many papers have you pumped to the internet, published, even though they are not going to benefit anyone watching us this morning, or who will even watch this after, or who even watch your morning extra tomorrow. So they are not going to benefit those people. We just selfishly publish them, pump them in air, uselessly, and they're not going to benefit anyone, and people get to be promoted, that they are professors. So we could have discussed that, but it's not really helping people. So there is something very, very important that if we don't pay attention to it, then I am not the only loser. The country loses, Africa loses, and I am a stakeholder to my country and Africa as a whole, because I am a parent, okay? I am a parent, I have children, same way you are, same way the viewers, those who don't have are also children of other people. So this is our world. So we need to pay attention. And AI, artificial intelligence, is something that is really, really going to change everything we know. Forget about electricity, forget about automobile. When cars came, they changed things. When electricity came, things changed. Remember in the 1900s, for example, we didn't have cars. There was no street where you could even drive a car in Kampala. There was no car, 1900. Okay? Maybe the richest people had horses, and those carriages, the horses pulling carts, right? We didn't have cars. But look what now, like we are suffering from traffic because of the huge number of cars. Now that is what is coming with artificial intelligence, or even worse than the automobile emergency. So if we are not, because it's going to change everything as we know it, from the job you do on a daily basis, to the food you eat, to the health care you need, to the education that our children really have to achieve or go for, to, I mean, the entire economy. So if that is not something to worry about and someone to really have conversations about, then I don't know anything that can really attract our attention. So that's how I generate or gather this passion and motivation to talk about artificial intelligence and write about it, even if no one, like you said, no professor, not even any other layman or any other person in their respective fields has really tried to write about artificial intelligence in East and Central Africa. But I hope that what I've done can really shed some light to the person or anyone who should care about this coming tsunami for us, okay? So that we know how to prepare ourselves, because the job you do today, and those who are watching this morning, the job you do today, it's not a guarantee that tomorrow it will be there. In the next, say, 6 years, 6 years, 2024 to 2030, you are not so sure, and I can't guarantee it, and no one should guarantee that you'll have that job tomorrow, because whatever we do, there is a business element into it. And business requires, revolves around two parameters. One, it is cost and profit. Okay? For you to get profit, you have to cut cost.
Yes.
So one way of cutting cost is to try to minimally use your resources. Okay? So that means if there is something that can help a businessman, a woman, to cut cost, they'll go for it. They will not care that you have 10 children, you the employee, or 3 children going to school. They don't care. They care about their profit.
Yes.
The ability to make profit.
Maximization.
Maximization of profit. And if they can't, those are losses, right? So, and they don't want their business to phase out, to die, or to not make any profit. So they will cut these employees, bring in the machine, which can provide the same service that you provide, but better, more productive, because it will not ask to rest. This machine, a robot, humanoids that are being created today and powered by AI, can actually work 7,000 hours without being serviced. So which human being will ever work 7,000 hours without going for leave, without falling sick, without finding excuses here and there, without wasting their time on internet, or on TikTok, Facebook, or anything? There's no such a human. Okay, without asking for time to go to sleep, but a machine will. So what do you think a businessman, a woman, or a corporate organization will prefer? You or the other machine that can be more productive? Definitely. So your job is not secure. Your job is not guaranteed. So that is artificial intelligence coming. And it will do this job precisely better than a human being, because it is powered by information that we don't have as human beings. It is more intelligent today than all of us combined in this country. So, aren't you worried?
Definitely you have to be. And you've already witnessed this. Now, Professor, when we talk about AI being something that is with us already, and I think every day it's just getting better. Recently, I visited a friend of mine, and I was discussing issues regarding homework. This person tells me, no, there is an app now, we don't bother. Teach your child how to use this app, how to take the pictures, the diagram, everything, and this will do the homework. Now, where someone maybe would have a teacher to come and help in case they're very busy, just a phone, AI is helping a child out. But let's also understand, AI seems so broad. Now, it is manifesting in various ways, as apps, as robots, as something like this. So kindly let's break this into more understanding in the layman's. Apart from what it's going to be doing, is this an app? Is this, how best can we define it? Is this an entire system having all information? Kindly let's venture into this, because I want our viewer out there. AI as a term, before the show, one of us was telling us, what's up as AI? You know, and the other was just telling him, for you, you've just noticed this. I noticed this three months ago. And I was like, no, I've discovered, and I was very excited. And now there are things, even on WhatsApp, that AI can help him do.
Yeah, Meta AI on WhatsApp. That's Facebook was, former Facebook was artificial intelligence. But Chirabo, you ask a very good question. And so many people have asked me this question. People tend to think that this is some amorphous thing somewhere. Maybe that
stored by the white man somewhere.
Somewhere, maybe one day it will drop, and maybe it will be like how the Chitezi rubbish fell on people. Yes, which is very, very unfortunate, and we still continue to pray for those people.
Yes.
For those who passed on, God to really grant them an eternal rest. Those who are still surviving, to have really the support they need to relive life again. But AI is not going to be like that. Now, let's try to break down what artificial intelligence is. Now, you and I, or anyone watching us today, we are human beings. We learn, we think. Two things: we learn, we think. And when we do those two things, we communicate within ourselves, and we solve problems. Because we have thought, we have learned, we have communicated, then we start solving problems. So you see those four elements in a human being. We interact. In the process, we communicate. So, but I can only interact with you asking me about AI because I've learned about this. And I've thought about it critically, vis-a-vis the country I live in, my country, vis-a-vis the continent where I live, vis-a-vis the world where I live, right? So then, after thinking, after learning, after communicating, so as I communicate, you also communicate to me, so I also pick more lessons from you. Then I have to start solving a problem. The way I appear here this morning to try to talk about this concept or elephant called artificial intelligence. So all those things a human being does, now a machine can do. Now, a machine can think, can learn, a computer can learn, can think, can learn, can communicate, and can solve a problem. So now it has assumed humanness. Now it has a brain. The same way we have neurons, it has neurons in its brain. So it can do what I can do. So actually today, I think I remember the president of, our president of this country, His Excellency President Museveni, endeavoring, like bothering to explain the importance of science. I think this time he doesn't have to explain, because now, you know this saying that we are going to separate men from children? Now science is going to exhibit itself without doing what? Without even talking about it. And this is the time when we have to encourage our children to do as much science as possible, and every child to do as much science as possible, like the rest of the developed world. A child does science from kindergarten to high school, completing high school. Everyone. You don't pick whether you're going to do arts or... no, you do science. You are exposed to some science. Okay? So why? Because now, anyone who is inclined towards science, at least they will have some jobs untouched for the time being. For example, if you are into construction and it requires your physicality, like physical appearance out there and conduct some activities, it is going to take AI a little bit of more time to do those things. But things to do with report writing, analyzing, thinking, legal, legal whatever administrators, all those things, letter writing, email composition, I talked about report writing. Songwriting, production of even a video. All those things now AI will do. So now you can understand what the president was talking about. He may not have anticipated this, but now this is clarifying his point. So that all of us need some kind of science, such that we even understand these algorithms that are driving AI. How do they work? When you know how they work, then you learn what we call prompt engineering, using artificial intelligence. It becomes easier for you to learn it. And then you are able to work, to make it work for you. That means you become more productive in the job you've been doing. In other words, if my boss expects me to write a report for him, if he was receiving it in 2 weeks or 1 week, now I can give it to him in a day. Now, I am the person who will never fire because I am more productive, I make him or her look good. So and the quality of what I give them is more advanced now because I know well how to prompt these language models or AIs, different AIs. And if you don't have that element of science in you, that is science. So then you're going to have some problems, some trouble. So, and this can be learned by everyone. You understand? So that's why a normal person, a parent out there, you need to understand that your child needs artificial intelligence.
Now, Professor, this takes me to bringing it into the classroom. Now, this is the way to go, and more so children are growing up in a generation where even AI is going to be better, more advanced, and doing more than it can even do today. Because with technology, every day, there is new development, better ways of solving things. How do we bring this into the system, given our education system, that even just computer lessons, I don't want to say we've failed, but computer lessons, because at least in secondary, we have this, but not many schools even can get there. When we go to primary, then it is a problem. I know of a country in the East African community, at least, where every child is exposed to at least a palm top or a laptop. But come back here, these still remain things of the privileged.
Thank you, Chirabo. That's very, very tough. And tough in a sense that it's not tough just because it can't be done. It's not tough in a sense that elsewhere it hasn't been done.
Yes.
No, it has been done perfectly. Now it's only us that have not developed the zeal, the motivation, the determination to make it happen. Now, and someone would argue it that it is difficult to achieve.
Yes.
But let me make it simple for fellow Ugandans. And I'm going to contextualize this within where we live. So there are a few things we need to pay attention to. One, that education is a public good. That every child born has a right to decent education. It's a right. If it's a right, then it is free. It's not bought or purchased. Education is a public good, and every child deserves, not deserves, has a right
To it.
to quality education. Number one. Okay? Number two, that means we have to prioritize education in terms of good teachers, in terms of numbers, and how their welfare is really, really taken care of. In terms of infrastructure, now we are talking about classrooms. You talked about bringing artificial intelligence in the classroom. In terms of the classroom, in terms of internet infrastructure, so all those things must be in place. Now, like I said, we discuss this in our own context. Do we have them in place? To a bigger extent, not everywhere. Okay. Now, here is what I am pushing. To bring AI in the classroom. Because ICT itself is no longer even important. Okay? Like bringing an ICT lab is no longer that important. But what it brings, because everything like coding, programming, identifying pieces of hardware of a computer, all those things now artificial intelligence can do.
Yes.
So you don't even need to really lose sleep over that. AI can do what? Can do them. So we need AI more than even learning those things. But we need infrastructure in place. Now, how do you get infrastructure? Before we talk about AI. Mr. Chirabo and the viewers this morning, there are so many things where we put money, but we are not supposed to really put our money there. Now, let me give you an example.
I'm eager to listen to those.
Yes. And you tell me if I am wrong. But I'm sure I'm not wrong. Number one, we spend a lot of money to conduct national exams. That is PLE for primary school and UCE for lower secondary. Okay? Now, there is no research anywhere in the world, not in certainly Uganda, we don't even have, but anywhere in the world that shows that someone's success in life hinges on those two national exams. It doesn't exist. Why do I say so? Because the countries that gave us this kind of system at the time when it started, and we remain proud to not even touch it, for them, for so many decades, have moved on. They no longer administer national exams for their primary or elementary children. They no longer administer national exams for their lower high school, lower secondary students. Okay? They use something we call continuous assessment that is conducted by their own teachers in their own communities, because the teacher understands what these kids have been learning. Okay? So now, but that teacher must be well facilitated. So meaning, if, and those countries are the ones we look up to for aid and loans and grants, and if they don't give them to us, we frown, we feel bad that they have not helped us. But they are busy educating their children in the right way. We are educating our children going south. So why can't we embrace what works and we leave what doesn't work? Why did I say that those two, we need to pay attention to them? Because if we can stop that, and if His Excellency woke up and he said, effective next year, no more national exams, because this is a matter of national security. These are resources, okay, and a population you're creating that is going to be useless to themselves and useless to the country. What better insecurity are you looking for than that? So if he woke up and he said, no more such two national exams, I am going to trust my teachers to conduct these
continuous assessment.
Yes, continuous assessment. It means you're going to save a lot of money to invest, one, in these teachers' welfare, in some kind of infrastructure, and the technology is available. There is Starlink internet technology. Go to the neighbors here, Kenya. They have it already. We are not so poor that we cannot afford Starlink internet technology, which will take internet to every corner of this country. High-speed internet. Of course, you're going to meet resistance from the existing telcos, like telecommunication companies, because they have now seen competition that is actually availing cheaper internet services to these schools, to these children, to their parents at home. because it's now satellite throwing this internet to a certain dish, and the dish receives it, and the school has internet, high speed. Okay? So the infrastructure is there. Now it's the money. So that means we need to squeeze every penny from anything where there's a leakage. So now, PLOE, UCE is a leakage. If we can seal it off and get these resources, we can deploy them somewhere. The other third thing that actually I saw His Excellency the President really mad at is boarding schools options, the boarding school option. Again, there is no research anywhere that anyone who is in a boarding school is actually going to be 4 times more successful than anyone who didn't go to a boarding school.
They believe more time for concentration.
More time to cram. Like you cram things to remember. Once you cram, then you remember. Life doesn't work like that. We are talking about artificial intelligence today. We are talking about technology. You don't need to cram. You don't need to remember. You can ask in real time and you get everything. So why are you wasting this child's time? Why are you wasting the parents' money? So when you end the boarding school option, I can understand parents don't have the time. They are going to say, but we don't have time to take care of these kids. We are always at work.
Transporting them,
yes,
feeding.
But that's a different, feeding is the same. Actually, you save money if you're feeding your children at home, okay? But that's a different question that now we have to handle as adults than subjecting these children to a world that is not real. A child wakes up on a timetable to the end of the day for the next 16 years. Talking to age mates, they don't interact with any adult, no little young person, no they don't have any diversity. They are going by rules. Follow the rules. Once they are done, plus also other vices they learn in the process. You congregate, you put kids who are boys in the same place and girls in the same place, and they are also watching movies every now and again. They see what is happening elsewhere, and whatever they learn, you blame them. No, blame yourself who paid exorbitant fees to put them in that situation. So whatever they learn, including the bad vices that do not correspond with our culture, blame them on yourself because you paid the money. And you subjected them to that kind of environment. Now, plus extracting them away from their community to go and live in an artificial environment. And then once they finish university, you bring them to the real world and ask them to solve problems in the community, which they know nothing about. So therefore, if you end this option, okay, it means you still, parents have to save money, because they pay a lot to put them there. They save money. They can buy gadgets for their children to be able to actively use AI in their classrooms. Government can save money to have more classrooms, to construct those ICT labs, to purchase Starlink internet long term, right? So we have the money, but we are using it differently. Yet, now, the countries where we are going to expect loans and aid to support our budget, they have no child in a boarding school. Now, do we want to think that we are so smart and very intelligent, way up there, better than anyone out there in the developed world that is actually giving us loans that service almost we are servicing debt to them? We are better than them to come up with innovation. You call it innovation, to put our children in boarding school.
Professor, I think this is where I also want to bring in something. Good I have you as the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University. Now, have done personal research on ICT and also AI and how universities are embracing technology. And believe it or not because I have professor here, but I've found Victoria University leading in this. How? It is the only university, though I stand to be corrected, in case I never reached your university, where I didn't see students carrying books, carrying pens, where I didn't see students submit courseworks. Because when I was at university, we submitted our dissertation, courseworks, where I didn't see a lecturer coming in a lecture room and giving us paper or to mark. Totally, I found out these people are using computers. Now, I tried to find out something, and I found still it remains one of the cheapest chartered universities.
True.
Now, Professor, how have you managed? It's not charging exorbitant, but even the child of an average Ugandan being able to be educated in such a system. The other thing you talked about is time spent in school. It's the university, I thought maybe by structure, you have lazy people there, lazy lecturers. And I was asking what you're promoting, because your students don't study 5 days a week. Few time they're at school. Most of the time they are not there. Moreover, it's also one of the universities where we have this old thinking, our university must be very big. They must have a huge chunk of land. Now for you in one building, it is not even worth a department in what we have in our minds. So there's so much complication. But let's begin with how you've managed that in this Ugandan, where issues of gadgets are expensive, where one would think then you have to charge so much to have this modern teaching. How have you been able to make that breakthrough?
Chiramo, your observation served you well. Now, it goes back to answer your question, it goes back to what I've been talking about. How best can you maximize the resources you have and ensure that the student is receiving quality, and if I break down quality, it must be an education that is really relevant to the world these students live in. An education that is preparing them to fit in a future they know nothing about. Even if things change, they have been prepared to adapt to that future that is coming. Okay? So an education that is going to help them be able to do something, either themselves or work for others within the country or out of the country. So that means looking for a job is not limited to your own environment. The skills you acquired, the experience you graduated with. Now, not my words, the experience you graduated with.
Because after graduation, we want experience. Employers are asking for
elsewhere,
3 years, 2 years experience or 1 year experience.
The equation is clear. At the end of the tunnel, you're expected to have experience. Unfortunately, different other institutions, you graduate with nothing.
Like experience.
And then they ask for experience, which you don't have. So use the resources you have to be able to better serve that student. Now, you said it very, very well. You come with a book in our classrooms. For what? Because that's not where we are as a university. You come with a pen. For what? It's okay if you really feel like it is really, really good for you to move around with a pen and a book, great. Because maybe you saw your father at some point, he moves around with a book and pen, go for it, great. But you don't need it. We have built a system. Sometimes I call it the largest classroom in the world. Okay, now, another university would boast of buildings. Okay? But we are in an era where, again, talk about AI, talk about other emerging technologies. We are in an era where a learner is not supposed to come running around to look for education. A learner is not supposed to leave their environment where they are supposed to receive experience, where they are supposed to solve problems, to run away from it, come to an artificial situation in search for education. No, education should find them. You understand? So our model is created in such a way that the learning you do should be able to help you solve a problem in your community or at your workplace. So that means you don't have to suffer with traffic, with the risk of being hit by a border, with all other, even spending the little money you have to come to a classroom just because you want to sit down and see Dr. Lawrence talking. You can see me on your phone, on your laptop, on your desktop, on your tablet or iPad, wherever you are situated in the world. That's the education of today. And you will be even better served than a person who had to trot from home, leave everything. Then they come to a classroom, and then they have to suffer going back, the risks associated with really those movements, the money you're spending. Because remember, here you have food at home, then you have to come with money, spend, buy lunch somewhere again, but you have money where, you have food where? At home. If you stayed in your work environment or at home, you would have used the resources you have, so you are better off, such that by the time you finish your degree, you're more empowered than impoverished. The systems we have in our country, elsewhere, not at Victoria University, they are going to impoverish you, leave you with nothing in the name of education. And then when you come out, you start looking for a job that you can't get because you have 0 years of experience. But if you stayed in Chiboga and started growing your pineapples, and you're taking an agriculture course, agribusiness course in Victoria University, all the things you learn are helping you become a better agribusiness expert in your own vicinity. Then you who has been acquiring that experience with the knowledge you have been acquiring, and the person who sat in a classroom for 4 years, who is better off?
Definitely this one. Because
you are making money, you have experience, you are supporting yourself, your family, your community, employing more people, but you are also acquiring education. So when you graduate, like we are going to have a graduation on 20th this month, and you're going to see what is going to happen. Now, most of our students are graduating, not actually the credential is not even very important. To me, what is music to my ears and what is really a great feeling is that they graduate with experience, already working, or they have acquired experience in different places they have been attached to. So when they come out and someone is asking for
so that's why they are less at the university?
Yes. We are saying you cannot sit in National Council is a body that does its work diligently. They know what they are doing. When you submit a curriculum to them, they tell you that the credit hours or units, whichever you want to call them, are 45 hours in a period of a semester or a trimester. For you to finish this curriculum of this module, you will spend, say, 45 hours or 70 hours or 80 hours. Now, for us, we are saying, you cannot sit in our classrooms Monday to Friday, 3 years. Then you have 0 years of what? Experience. But let's use the hours that were really accredited to complete this module, spend 2 hours, like 15 hours a week in our classroom. You are going to do one module a month and finish it before you go to something else. The science behind that kind of learning is that once you continue, you learn something consistently, then mastery comes in. You master it. Okay? Then learning a little bit of this, you go to the other one, you go to the other one. At the end of the day, 6 modules, you are confused. You are just a moving zombie that is confused. You are just waiting for an exam. Exams at the end of the semester. There is this exam, social work. There is also business administration. There is this one. You don't even know anything. You're just there. You're waiting to pass by God's grace. But here, when you do one, you master everything, and then you are assessed, and then you are sure that I understand this, and then you move on. So 15 hours a week. If it is 4 weeks, that's 45 hours. The rest of the hours in a week, get something to do, for God's sake. be placed somewhere and do work, get some experience. Even if they pay you, that's great. But if they don't pay you, they have paid you in form of experience. You are not going to look like any other student who has come from a different university. You will have experience. Do your research. You're a journalist. Go to different employers and ask them about the interns they have. They have from Victoria University compared to other interns from elsewhere, or the students who are their staff, employees working today from Victoria University, then compare them with someone else coming from other
these ones have about 2 months of internship, yet these ones for over the study period
all the
they
time.
are there.
Okay,
yes.
Now this is what we have also done. Effective the new block, we say block now, that's a month. The new block of the trimester that is coming up. All our students, all of them, have to complete 5 certifications of artificial intelligence in different disciplines, their respective disciplines or majors. If you are into marketing, how do you use AI into marketing? If you are into pursuing architecture or something like that, how does AI help you into that? There are those courses related to that. All that for free for all our students. Plus the work integrated learning, I told you, this, the experience part. Plus the career readiness and employability, preparing them to be ready. Now all that, again, we remain, Victoria University remains the most affordable university, chartered university in Uganda. Get the
no, that's
internet doesn't lie.
No.
Even ChatGPT will give it to you. Say, what is the most affordable chartered university in Uganda? Go to the website and compare the numbers and see.
That
so
professor I did.
All
and
that
brings
doable.
Me to something I want to ask. More so, you've explained well the time in class and the time out, preparing these people for the real world that they are coming in. But still I go back to issues of how they are able to access these gadgets.
Okay.
Yeah, because we've seen a number of universities and how you're able to adopt in this method of teaching. One time I attended a classroom. Actually, I was moving through, what do you call that board? There is
smart board. Digital smart board.
Digital smart board. I was like, okay. But asking someone, when they told me the price, like, now, if professor is not lying, how do you have expensive ICT equipment, you're charging less? And I was like, if you can have these other universities, these huge classroom blocks we have. I remember Mascom were about 107, and you all come, if you're evening, you'll squeeze there. Like, for someone to know, these are expensive things to have. So how have you managed? First, students were not from eco families, but they end up having these gadgets. Then also the other technology that accompanies this nature of teaching.
So, again, like I said, this is a game of prioritization, like you prioritize. Initially, when we started this journey, teachers would also complain they don't have gadgets, laptops. Just imagine a teacher. Elsewhere in other countries, in your toolbox, you have to have a laptop. It's a must elsewhere. But here, you can understand the situation. So we said, okay, it is learning for our students that must happen. And improved learning, quality learning. We want our students to be taught in such a way that when an employer is looking for someone with digital competencies, with digital mastery, digital competence is not good enough now. Digital mastery. So, you're not going to sit down students somewhere in a lab, computer lab, and teach them computer. Those are episodes in their lifetime. They can spend. I remember when I went to Makerere, I learned ICT. We were 20 students per computer. Okay, how we learned is that someone used to point at it. There was a bigger slide, a projected slide. And then someone do command language, and then we see things moving. No one touched it, but I passed with 80%. So just pity the employer who can see my transcript and think I actually passed ICT at the time. Okay? So that doesn't happen at Victoria. We think that, one, you have to come with, the way you go elsewhere with a book or a pen, and you have a backpack, please have a laptop, have a tablet, have a smartphone, because you have them for free anyway. I am yet to find a university student, even if it means to lie, that the university needs these kind of books and they come up with names that don't even exist. They will lie and get a smartphone. To do what? TikTok, Instagram. Facebook is now fading away for them, since it even has a ban. The other one is what? There is another one.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp. There's another one that has a yellow kind of Snapchat. Very good. That is why they need a smartphone. But for us, we are saying, okay, we can actually use it as a resource. You can use it with your things that you want, but you also use it to learn. So that means, while for you have the desire to have a smartphone, let us make you use it for your education. Now, they have a smartphone, they can bring a tablet, they can have a laptop, but those who don't have, we also have some labs. Okay, you can sit there and do the work. But we have also had now a new arrangement with Absa Bank, where they can access laptops that they can pay slowly for the rest of the time they are with us. And that is very, very good for them. So you can't now have even any excuse. And now for the teachers, they have the digital smartboards in every classroom. So you will come, the blackboard you're used to, or this other one, the flip charts the people use, or the whiteboards. Please, we don't want that. You have a board in the smart board. You have a digital pen. So write everything, and as whatever you're doing, the other student who stayed wherever they are seeing you in real time. You understand? So we can even now turn your house into our classroom. So you talk about buildings. No, we are not going to have white elephants that we can't milk for nothing. At night they are doing nothing. During the day they are empty. So why should we have them? We are going to have the Victoria University, you know, then there is a branch at Market Plaza. We are coming up, of course. There's some element of tradition that you're going to have a campus. We are going also to have a campus in Naguru. But again, even our campus will be technologically driven, not the campuses you know. No, everything will rotate around artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, energy storage, all right, quantum computing, all those things, such that we are very, very efficient and very productive and very, we maximize the space we have and the facilities we have. We want to create a go-to place for others to learn from, okay? Where you don't come and simply obtain a degree. That is miseducation. It is not acceptable. It is broad, like legal thievery or a legal scam, where you're giving a student just a degree to go home. No experience. They are not digitally competent.
Taken away from their environment?
They are taken, they can't solve a problem from where they're coming from because they know nothing about it. So that is miseducation. Or, I usually call it a legal scam, because you can't sue these institutions. No, that's an education that has been known for ages. Whereas other countries and education system left to that kind, we are still using. So, but We don't have to do that as Victoria University. We have to change things. We know that AI can help people now do things. So we can now personalize learning to every student in the classroom. Okay? We can now give a student a personal tutor. Okay? In form of AI. So we just need to develop these bots and everything. So if you don't see your teacher, you can ask your AI. You asked me, how do you bring it to the classroom? So, and I envisage a country where we don't have enough teachers, and the government has invested in this kind of infrastructure, where now every child has a teacher at home. While they're doing their homework, they are asking this AI, give it a name, Irene, help me solve this equation. You take a picture. Then AI tells you, okay, the approach is this. So keep going like this. When you get stuck, ask me again. So you have a tutor in AI. So, and then if you're practicing adaptive learning and personalizing it to this child, now, some students learn faster, others are a little bit slow. Now, this AI can help the student to their pace. Once you finish this, they give you a little bit something harder. When you finish that, they give you something harder.
So that is where the world is going.
That's where the world is, not where it is going.
Well, Professor, time seems to be running, and we must come to the end of the show. But the reality is, we must catch up with times. The question is, are we prepared? Are we able? And let's conclude with that.
I will conclude by, again, talking about what I started with. We have to be intentional. We have to prioritize. We have to remember that education is not a luxury. It's not a desire. It's not something we just deserve. It's a public good and a right. Now, if it is a right, then there should be investment. And if we don't have enough resources, we can comfortably accept that there are things that have worked and we know that there is a way they work, we know them, but we should also be ready to shift and swallow the bitter pill and know that the boarding school option is only expensive and something that is used by some school owners to really generate some income. Okay? And then we can rethink that. And to those parents who don't have maybe where to leave their children, maybe this is where now other investors can come in and create things. In other words, we call them group homes. You put your child in a group home within the vicinity, an environment where that school is, such that the school can leave a group home, a home still, not an artificial environment, to go to the school. So that is an option. And we can swallow that bitter pill and make it happen. But we will save parents money, we will save government money. Number two, get rid of unnecessary expenditure. Conducting national exams at 2 levels. We know that they don't add value to the education system other than creating different classes in society in terms of my child goes to this school and my child I am poor, my child stays here. So the more you have these grades minted nationally, it means you are empowering these people to say, those who own these schools, I'm sorry, they are not going to like me, but that is the truth. Country comes first. We just have to really love our country, at least. So you just have to, the moment you give them these national computations, grades, they are going to say, you need a first grade? Come to us. We are the only ones who can give you a first grade. And it comes with a price. So please, but if we get rid of those, now we are bringing in place equalization, access to everything. So meaning now society, your child can stay in your community. Remember, there are no boarding options. They are going there and come back home. And education is free. It is accessible. And where they are still charging fees, They are charging fees that is affordable, but within their community. So we are going to see savings that we can use in investing in infrastructure like internet. I told you about Starlink internet technology that now can make internet available everywhere. We are going to invest in AI. Now we have internet, in ICT labs, classrooms. So these things are possible, but we have to be determined. I end with this. We have an intake going on at Victoria University. For those students who want to start their education in October, please find us online on our website and apply. Or you can go there physically. But most of the time, I say don't waste your time, go online, apply.
And that is the way things are being done
yes.
Today, even if it is jobs or anything. AI technology is the way to go. I want to thank you so much, Professor Lawrence Muganga, Vice Chancellor of Victoria University. And to you, our viewer, that is the education that the world is expecting us, to have people who are competent in the 21st century with those skills. Now you no longer have to write a report. Someone says, send the report on my email. And what do you do? Well, have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. God bless you.